You know at least 3 of them. One of them is in your phone right now. Sunday night. You're not thinking about work. You're thinking about a conversation you have to have this week. You don't know what you'll say. You just know that afterward, you'll feel like you lost something, and you won't be able to explain what. You tell yourself, I'm probably overreacting. That's the person this video is about. There are 12 of them, 12 types. Each one works differently. Each one costs you something different. By the end of this, you will know exactly which ones are already in your life, and you will not be able to unsee them.
Type 1. The guilt architect. Every favor comes with a weight attached. They don't ask, they remind you what they've given. You feel indebted before you've done anything. They don't say, you owe me. They don't have to. The ledger exists in the air between you. Type 2. The victim who never heals. Their suffering is always greater than yours. The moment you bring a problem, the conversation pivots. At some point, you stopped sharing anything real with them. You didn't decide to. You just learned. Type 3. The subtle critic. They never attack. They wonder. Are you sure that's a good idea? I just worry about you. The compliment always has a tail. You can never quite catch it. You just feel slightly smaller after every conversation. And here is why type 3 is the most dangerous of the first 3. It works because it never feels like an attack. It feels like concern. And you respond to concern by defending yourself, which makes you look fragile. The critic wins without saying anything cruel. They planted the doubt. You grew it. Hold on. One of these 12 types is not who you think it is. It might be you. Keep listening. Type 4. The credit thief. They don't steal your ideas. They reframe them. In the meeting, your concept becomes what we were all thinking. Nothing you can prove, just a slow erosion of your visible contribution. Type 5. The chaos agent. They don't sabotage. They create confusion. Just enough that others can't move forward without them. Every escalation, they were somehow nearby. Every resolution, they become essential. Type 6. The weaponized ally. They take your side, loudly, in public. In private, they make sure the people you need to trust know your weaknesses. They describe themselves as your biggest supporter. They are your most consistent leak. Type 6 is the one most people regret missing. Not because they didn't feel something was wrong. They felt it. They ignored it. Because feeling something is wrong about someone who calls themselves your friend feels disloyal. That feeling of disloyalty is the tool. Type 7. The gaslight engineer. Not dramatic, not loud. They simply remember events differently than you do. And somehow, they always remember them in a way that exonerates them. You start to doubt your own memory, then your judgment, then yourself. Type 8. The emotional hostage taker. When you set a boundary, they fall apart. Not in anger, in grief. Your limit becomes their wound. You learn never to say no. It costs less than watching them collapse. Type 9. The intermittent rewarder. Warm and cold. Available and vanishing. You never know which version you'll get, so you stay ready. You optimize for their approval. You become excellent at reading their mood. You forget you didn't used to live like this. Right now, someone watching this is doing that optimizing. You know who this is about. 3 left. Pay close attention. These last 3 aren't just difficult. They're structural. Type 10. The identity sculptor. Over years, they've told you who you are, what you're good at, what's not really you. You no longer know which parts of your self-concept came from you. Some of what you call your personality, they built it to make you easier to manage. Type 11. The future mortgage. When things are better, once this is sorted, they trade in promises. Futures that keep you invested in an arrival that never comes. You've been waiting. You've been waiting for years. That's not love. That's a holding pattern. Type 12, the mirror. This is the one you didn't expect. The manipulator who looks exactly like you. Your values, your language, your frustrations. Except their version of those things serves only them. You trust them instantly. That's the design. You were always going to.
So, you think the problem is that you can't spot these people? That's not the problem. You can feel them. You have always been able to feel them. The problem is that you've been trained, by them, to distrust that feeling. Maybe I'm too sensitive. I'm probably projecting. They didn't mean it like that. That thought, that exact thought, is the manipulation working. Here's what all 12 types share. One thing. They make you the author of your own diminishment. They don't take your confidence. They create conditions where you hand it over yourself and believe it was your idea. You don't feel robbed. You feel inadequate. There's a difference, and it's the entire trick. So here's your table. 12 types. You've seen them, you've named them, that part is done. But knowing the type doesn't stop the pattern. That's the mistake people make. They learn the label, they feel smart, and nothing changes. Because identification is not defense. There are 7 techniques every manipulator on this list uses, regardless of type. The type is the costume. The techniques are the mechanism. And here is what nobody tells you. Once you learn the 7 techniques, you will start seeing them in people you thought were safe. Not strangers, not just difficult people. People you trust, people you love. That part is harder. The next video is the 7 techniques, exactly how each one works, real examples. If you miss it, you have the map, but not the key. Subscribe, and then look at your phone. You already know who you're going to think about. Name one, just one. That's where it starts.